I'm Double J Jeff Jarrett. That's right. That's Jeff Jarrett E-double-T. That's Double J Jeff Jarrett. And right now, tune in to Turnbuckle Tavern. Now choke on that, Slappy.
It is time to get raw. It is time to get down. It is time for the RAWDOWN, the number one source for all things WWE, right here on the Turnbuckle Tavern. I'm your host, Young Anthony of the Titantron podcast and the Independent Epicenter, and I'm joined by my co-host in crime, the MVP Marco of the Chick Foley Show, and RK Bone.
The three most destructive letters in the Turnbuckle Tavern. RK Bone.
I'm waiting for a week that you just completely flop on a name change, because so far you've done a pretty good job, I must say.
Yeah. I have to agree. Definitely.
It's going to happen. I mean, Jesus. It's only so much you can do with a bone.
Folks, welcome back to the show. Hope you missed us, because we certainly have a lot to get into today. A lot of outside the ropes news. We have a jam-packed edition of the RAWDOWN with, of course, my favorite segment and yours, J Bone's in-depth analysis of the NXT report, coming very soon the show. Cannot wait for that.
What a great show.
Raw and SmackDown have definitely both been interesting as of late, so we're definitely going to be talking about that. So stay tuned. We've got a big show for you. Plus, we have the champ is here.
Fraud. The fraud is here.
But he's not, obviously he's not on the show.
You're not the champ, Marco. Okay?
Yeah, unfortunately, Marco's
you
not
allowed the title.
Interim champ.
The interim champ.
Soon to be actual champ.
I don't know about that. I'm the tag team champions, but
I'm definitely the tag team champions.
I don't know about all of that. Anyways, those are the champions here. Said Who is also in the YouTube.
Who?
I wonder who said who. Who? All right, folks, let's get into this. We are going to start, as we always do, with some news.
Outside the ropes.
Outside the ropes. Let's get right into it. So last week, we did a little bit of false advertising here on the show, and we deeply apologize from the bottom of our sports entertainment hearts. Because in the title, we said that we were going to talk about the WWE and GCW kind of collaboration thing that's going on, and we didn't talk about it, but we do have to address it because it's pretty big news. So we saw some pictures of Brett Lauderdale with Stephanie McMahon. What was it, WrestleMania weekend that they were taking pictures together?
Yep.
And, a lot of speculation there. I don't know much about it. J-Bone, what happened there?
Well, Brett Lauderdale mentioned that at some point, either WWE wants to do some type of relationship where they use the Bloodsport name, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport. So basically, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport is underneath the GCW umbrella, if you want to call that, I guess. And they want to apparently either use it or buy it or do something similar to it. I don't know what the specifics are. That's kind of what it is. If you're not familiar with Bloodsport is, they
beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah, it's basically like shoot fighting,
Yeah.
It's usually you think of your strong style guys, Minoru Suzuki's and of course, Josh Barnett's. We were just talking off air that they faced off. Moxley's. Anyways, all your tough guys, basically in a square circle with no ropes.
Yeah.
And they just beat the shit out of each other. It's kind of almost like Fight Club, basically, but
yeah.
Remember the first rule of Fight Club. We don't talk about Fight Club.
Exactly. It's like Bloodsport. If you ever seen the movie Bloodsport with Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's legit like that. Like literally to the T almost. Minus Jean-Claude Van Damme and the big giant guy that he fights. But
So how are we feeling about this little possible partnership?
Go back real quick on the debate. They actually talk about it this week. But Marco, what do you think?
I So we were actually, like you said, we were talking about this off air before we went on, and I did enjoy during the which I like to call the pandemic era of Raw. They introduced the Raw Underground, which was a kind of like a spin-off, or actually just a straight copy of Bloodsport, minus the actual actually hitting each other and shoot wrestling, shoot fighting, what have you. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It was pretty cool. The only thing I didn't like about it was it's WWE, so they have to throw like a storyline into it. It was pretty cool getting like these like no name people, just in that that arena and just going at it. Oh, you see, that was the kind of like the birth of Omos.
Omos, Commander Aziz.
Yep, Commander Aziz. They were so Omos was the bouncer. He never fought in it, but he was the guy at the door. Him and Shane McMahon technically, and so it was kind of like a storyline thing that they had going. I liked it. I enjoyed it, and then obviously it abruptly just disappeared. I took it as something where they were just experimenting because there was no audience essentially at that time during 2020 when they're doing this. So they were just throwing stuff at the wall, see if it sticks, type of thing. But then you find out that there's an actual thing called Bloodsport that they kind of ripped off. So I think I watched an interview with I think it was Josh Barnett was on Renee's podcast. And I think
Oral Sessions.
Yes, Oral Sessions. I think he didn't really talk about it too much, but kind of hinted towards there was some type of legal thing going on where they legit ripped off his idea. That was his
right.
The Bloodsport idea was his. So that's why they stopped doing the Raw Underground essentially. I personally don't see it in a WWE capacity. I mean, I'd have to see what they're going to do with it, or I just don't see it fitting in the WWE universe. Essentially, it's kind of I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird sport that they're bringing into that fold.
Yeah, and here's my thing is that we've seen already so many times that news outlets have mentioned that WWE is looking to partner with other companies. New Japan was, I think, the most recent one that's gotten the most traction.
Yep.
And obviously nothing has come from that. Well, actually, something did come from that, and that's the Forbidden Door pay-per-view, which we're getting between AEW.
Yeah.
Great job on the news outlet for that one. But when it comes down to it, we've seen it before of failed partnerships or, rumors of it, and it leads to nothing. I think there's a little more esteem to it now that Brett is the one that's really talking and Josh Barnett talking about it.
Yeah.
But like Marco said, I don't see especially the Bloodsport name being associated with WWE. It's blood sport.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's not just blood, it's sport. And WWE is all about entertainment. So the fact that they would want to call it both blood and a sport is
call it Blood Sports Entertainment.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's perfect. Love it.
Yeah. I mean, unless they want to call it suspicious red liquid, then I don't know what else they're gonna call it. Just a shout out to Austin. Welcome in, Austin.
Well, hey, Austin's gonna be on my show this week, by the way. Shout out to Austin.
Look at that.
Nice. But yeah, Blood and Guts. If you want to watch Blood and Guts, you tune into that other shit, that pisshead company.
And you know what? That actually brings Blood and Guts, which is the trademark of AEW. So maybe WWE is looking at that, maybe trademarking that name, the Bloodsport name, and maybe centering a match around it. Maybe not a whole show, maybe not anything like that. Maybe just maybe a pay-per-view.
Maybe
with that, but exclusively because they have obviously the Peacock deal, so they can kind of get away with it. I mean, you're not going to be putting it on live TV where everyone can watch it. You have to be a paid subscriber. So I mean, now that you actually brought up that Blood and Guts thing, I can kind of see it. I just don't see who would participate.
I don't see GCW at this time working in any capacity with WWE. I think it was just a photo op. I think it's Brett Lauderdale. I'm sure there were some talks at some point, maybe. I'm not going to doubt that, but I can't see them right now doing that, and in some capacity, mainly because they're diehards. want nothing to do with WWE. That's how Matt Cardona got over so great as a heel, because he was the WWE guy, right?
Well, yeah.
And he was the polished wrestler. They want nothing to do with WWE, from their even their announcers, their ring announcer, Emil J is like anti WWE. So I can't see them, honestly. I think it would hurt their brand too much to be a part of WWE at this time.
Mhm.
And I think it kind of like in some way affects their brand a little bit, even with that remote possibility of that happening. Like, because that's going to turn off some of these diehards away. That's just my opinion. Honestly, you don't need WWE. There's so many outlets to promote. Look at what they've done by themselves already.
Right.
Yeah.
With Fight TV and deals, and of course, even tune into the fucking GCW show too. They talk about the lawsuit with the IWTV, but there's so many ways to consume this product. I don't see them parting now. Will WWE potentially somehow try to rip it off again? Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
That's what the Attitude Era was. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
All I was saying was that's what the Attitude Era was with the hardcore matches. They started ripping off ECW.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. Was I know about the Attitude Era was, and I of course reviewed this on a recent episode of Classic Match Classroom. Of WWE has done this in the past, working with smaller companies. They did a whole angle with ECW with Paul Heyman and Jerry Lawler, and they did it. I think
they were feeding the money. They were the backbone, financial backbone for ECW for a while.
Yeah,
well, sure. I mean, who says that won't be the case for someone like GCW?
Could happen again.
I think when we talk about GCW doesn't need WWE, I think we need to know what exactly GCW wants to be. If GCW is content with where they are right now and building up as, I guess, the top independent promotion, which I guess it's fair to say that they are, then all power to them. They're doing it perfectly. Go for it. But if they want to build up to be, not on the level of a WWE, obviously, or an AEW, but be in like a tier above all of the independents, all of the, even above Impact or, MLW, NWA, if they want to be in that tier, possibly working with WWE could be that real, just final knife. I don't know what the saying is, but the final straw for them to be like, third biggest company in the United States.
Well, to be honest with you, I think they are number 3 right now. And
over
Impact.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
Impact is tough. Impact has been a while for. Yeah.
And look, and honestly, Impact Rebellion this past weekend was a great show. If you got a chance to watch it, it was really good. But I think with the hype that GCW has right now, and I mean, to be honest with you, look at Turnbuckle Tavern. We don't have an Impact show.
Yeah.
That's about the only promotion we don't really follow here.
That's fair.
True.
Ace says the big difference is that they weren't public, ally traded, answering to shareholders. No way suits in a boardroom sign off on being associated. Well, that was my other thing was I was going to bring up. You have to realize that it's very that's why I said Bloodsport doesn't fit the vibe already for WWE.
Yeah,
but maybe there's some leeway with the amount of revenue that WWE has been bringing in, record highs, or if they're really projecting them to be like that, maybe there is some leeway from Fox or USA or any sponsors to be like, hey, if this is going to bring in more interest, if it's going to help the brand a little bit, then go for it. I think maybe they'll do it in a limited capacity. Like even, when WWF when ECW invaded WWF, it was still very limited. There wasn't it wasn't full on ECW. You had all the names, you had some of the action, but it definitely wasn't extreme championship wrestling. That was only the case when WWF guys would come on over to ECW, like Jerry Lawler coming over to ECW. That was a whole nother dynamic, which is something you should also think about. Maybe GCW guys coming to WWE, it's a little more restricted, which it would have to be. But if WWE guys go on over to GCW, you have a case of a Matt Cardona where you put someone who is immediately in a hostile environment. That makes them a huge deal. It makes it, we can have multiple Matt Cardonas. And I feel like that's even better, if we keep building on that. That could be definitely an interesting angle to turn this into a possible Invasion 2.0. I don't know. Different ways you can go about this.
Well, one thing you brought up too is like, how do we not know that they're already backing him some way?
Exactly.
And something that came to mind as we're talking about that, their production quality from whenever Cardona's the GCW homecoming in the summer to Hammerstein greatly increased. Like,
you know what? I'll throw in a just real quick. I'll throw in one of these because I'm not sure if it is, but
hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
I see GCW working with WWE far before I see them working with AEW.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, the
1000%.
way I look at it is, and this is the case for a lot of indies, just look at the way that they've presented a lot of the outside stars that they've gotten AEW. A lot of the guys, like, I would watch AEW Dark and Elevation, and I would see guys like Ricky Shane Page, who were presented as big deals on GCW, just be easily jobbed out on Dark and Elevation. Now, of course, that probably won't be the case if it's a AEW and GCW, kind of pairing up there. But I mean, Minoru Suzuki is another. I know
Ace brings up a good point too. Pull up his last comment.
Is that necessarily working with AEW and GCW, or is that the openness of John Moxley's contract that he can do those?
Exactly. And the other thing too is one of the you talk about that production quality that GCW had on that Hammerstein show. It almost looked identical to a company that WWE purchased, an indie company, Evolve.
Evolve.
So they're if you see if you watch any of the Evolve shows, even the camera angles look very. I was just actually thinking of that as you're talking. Like, even the camera angles that GCW had on that show. If you go back to any one of the the later Evolve shows when WWE was involved, it looks pretty similar to it. I mean, obviously we're throwing out speculations, stuff like that, but there might be something to that. And I think with
the I forget what the other one was. ICW, wasn't that on the network also?
Yes.
ICW. Yes. Yeah. So they
very similar as well.
It's kind of like that, like the rings like here, and then like the camera's like right here.
Yeah.
It's a big what do they call it? Big arm camera or whatever.
I think it was one of the UK independents, I think, is on the network as well. Or
Progress.
Yep. So the other thing too is, if they're not partnering with, they're partnering with GCW to get the Bloodsport name. They could be using that to produce for another, I think you kind of mentioned it, for another network. So say maybe Fox or USA wants another show from them. Maybe Fox wants another show. How USA has Raw and NXT already. Maybe Fox is looking for, another show produced from WWE. They have a deal with WWE for them to produce some content for them to produce shows. Maybe something for those fans that are into MMA.
Put it on Fox Sports.
Yeah, put on Fox Sports or because UFC was on Fox until they did that deal with ESPN. Right. So now they're on ESPN now. So maybe Fox is looking for something similar to that. And now where they have WWE, probably one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world, maybe that's their gateway into again. They get that Bloodsport on Fox Sports, and you kind of have that like gateway between wrestling and MMA. Essentially,
Well, I mean, something else to think about, and that's a great point, is, look at the type of content that's on USA right now, and I'm talking about WWE. You have Raw, which is obviously the sports entertainment show. NXT, although it is very sports entertainment, although it is very, shit, as we'll get to in a few, it's a lot more edgier than a lot of your other WWE shows.
Yeah, there's kidnappings.
Yeah, kidnapping,
scantily clad women.
Yeah,
there's a lot of innuendos and stuff like that. Yeah.
So this might be, if we go over to Fox, you have your sports entertainment show that's bringing in 2 to 3 million viewers in SmackDown. I might have overestimated there, but at the point there was 3 million.
Yeah.
And then
I think it's at 2 million as of Friday.
Yeah, 2 million. I mean, that's still pretty good for what WWE's doing right now. But
Friday night,
and then that secondary show could be, some type of GCW type of blend here. I would love to see that. I'm sure a lot of fans would be very interested in how they would present that. Of course, like I said, it would be a little watered down, but like, what are you going to do? I feel like that would be huge for GCW, but it just depends what they want it to be. Do you want it to be the third biggest company and like solidify it? Because although like RK Bone, you said that there's although there's multiple, even though you think that it's the third, and I could see why. I still think there's a few, at least in the US. I don't think GCW comes in like top 5 in the entire world.
Wow.
Maybe.
Dude, I don't know about that.
Now I got to think. WWE, AEW, New Japan, Impact, GCW. Okay, maybe. Noah. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
You don't even know what Noah is. Sit down.
Exactly.
You have to go NWA
the captain of the Ark.
Don't forget, NWA's still floating around there
NWA.
as well. So.
Maybe. All right, good points. I want to get to Circle of Debate here. Welcome in. But even if they get the Bloodsport, doesn't mean they get Barnett or his concept that he created. Josh only uses GCW platforms to expose his Bloodsport on the platforms, and GCW roster mainly has 2 top of their stars, Effie and Gage, while everyone else is paid per appearance. And then he brings up MLW and NWA.
Oh, MLW.
That's true.
Yeah,
what a weird world it would be to see Effie and Nick Cage in WWE. I would never. I don't think this is going to happen. We've seen this way too many times. I would love to see it too, but
I don't think it's happening.
We've seen this way too many times that it's WWE is rumored to buy out Impact Wrestling, and WWE is rumored to work with New Japan, and
WWE is rumored to buy out Disney. Goddamn, pal.
Well, you got to think too, like maybe they're trying to draw more athletes into it. Like they have like the Tyson Fury. They have him. He's kind of like saying he might make an appearance at SummerSlam. We kind of overlooked this too. Conor McGregor tweeted after WrestleMania, they didn't invite me because they're scared. So maybe they're trying to get him. Maybe they get this Bloodsport thing going. Maybe
I watched the match, and a matter of fact, I fell asleep in the middle of it.
That's all I have to say about that.
Becky Lynch appeared on WrestleMania, Marco, and you didn't see.
That is true. That's right. That's right.
Oh man. Well, there's only so much we could say about this. WWE Shop exclusive pizza cutter with the shirt would be an awesome limited edition piece that's worth $100.
Comes with the pizza.
Comes with the pizza. Yeah, there's only so much we could talk about this. We're just gonna have to wait and see, as we always do in the wrestling world. But definitely a lot of things. I would love to. The tagline for WWE's Bloodsport is
"You're bleeding."
You're bleeding.
You're bleeding.
You're bleeding.
You're bleeding.
Organ, you're bleeding.
Circle of Debate says, I mean, Effie would make.
They're too scared. They're too scared.
Yeah, with what they did on Raw with the
wedding
24/7 stuff.
The greatest wedding ever.
Yeah. Greatest, losing their minds because they probably almost had a lesbian couple.
Yeah,
like no,
it's good shit, pal.
God damn it! You two kiss. Yeah.
It's time to shake things up around here.
That's my third favorite Vince McMahonism. It's time to shake things up just a little bit.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we're 25 minutes in and we haven't even talked about some actual WWE. We've spent so much time on GCW. Let's get down to the WWE. So we've got some again, news and rumors.
News and
WWE
rumors.
Rumors
is
and
apparently
innuendo.
considering a ranking system similar to that of AEW's, of course, wins, I will bring up that WWE did have a ranking system long ago.
Yeah.
It was
The power rankings.
It was the power rankings. It was
Yep.
based on how they were presented on TV. It didn't really have to do with the wins and losses. However, there was a ranking system. And need I remind you, they did bring back a ranking system for all of 2 episodes of SmackDown Live when Daniel Bryan brought it. Do you guys remember this? When they first brought back SmackDown Live, Daniel Bryan did a rank of like the top 10 SmackDown superstars of the week.
I think I faintly remember this.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right.
That went nowhere.
Yeah,
so here's what I'll say. I hope to God that they do not do a ranking system. Wins and losses, of course, don't really matter in WWE, do they? And there's no reason to look, be it a hot take or not, the ranking system in AEW just does not work out for me. Due to the fact, listen, just hold on. That's due to the fact, and maybe WWE will do this correctly. They use dark and elevation to pad the wins so that all of a sudden
green jacket, gold jacket, who gives a shit?
I give a shit. Hold on. They use dark and elevation to pad these wins, which I don't know. I just don't think that getting wins over a local jobber from Albany, New York is the same as getting a win over Bryan Danielson. I feel like they're doing it wrong. Do it based on a point system, and that's how the ranking works. Dark and elevation wins 1 point. Dynamite and Rampage wins 2 points.
It's too complicated.
How is that complicated?
It's too complicated.
You don't have to really address it. You just need to make, that makes the ranking much more.
You're already trying. You're focusing on booking, right? Booking storylines, and then you're gonna. Oh shit! This person's got 42 points, and now I have 41 points, but I want my 41 point person to be
that adds the story. I need to win this next match, or else.
Yeah, but I'm talking about on a booking level. Like, oh shit! Like I've got a couple. This guy that I don't want to be my next challenger. He's 3 points behind. So what do I got to do? Oh, I got to hurry up and book him some wins.
In that case, don't do the ranking system altogether because it doesn't work in wrestling. I'm sorry, ranking systems don't work in wrestling.
Here's where it works. It kills 50-50 booking. That's where it works.
But that's also can be killed by just making good stories. You don't really
okay. All right. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
yeah. I'll give you that.
Especially, and that's where it ties back to WWE is, I hate separating the sports entertainment and the wrestling because wrestling is sports entertainment. I don't give a shit. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
But WWE is entertainment, right? Like they're much more focused in the story than the actual action as compared to AEW. When you bring in a ranking system for the WWE, you got guys that are at the top of the card that lose all the time to add to the story. And I feel like that works. Now, hear me out. I feel like I'm shaking my head because I'm agreeing with you. But
right.
But that's the thing is for WWE that works because you don't need someone like Seth Rollins to win every single match. He's Seth Rollins. He doesn't need to win every single Raw. Like just this past Monday, he lost in an 8-man tag. If you look at Seth Rollins' ranking, if they do the ranking system, if you look at his wins and losses, he probably has roughly for TV wins the same amount of wins and losses just because it adds to the story. I would rather them keep up with that and tell the stories than have to, put more of a focus on basically copy what AEW is doing. AEW does it fine because, like I said, they are a wrestling company. WWE is all about sports entertainment. So keep at it and allow the losses to mean something.
Okay.
If there's no other critique if there's no other compliment that I can give WWE, is that some of their losses on TV at least add to the story. Some of them don't make sense, but it all plays into their story. I would rather that than do a whole ranking system. It doesn't make sense to me.
Go ahead, Marco. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, yeah. I mean, for AEW, I think they should not count the elevation show, like those none of those shows.
Mm-hmm.
It should only be it should be Rampage and Dynamite should be where you get your wins, where your rankings make sense.
Yep.
Because there's times when you'll see, like, I don't know, the fucking, is it the bunny, whatever her name is? It'll be like, you'll see her record, it'll say 75 wins and 10. You're like, she was on fucking TV for 70. I've never seen her on I've seen her on Elevation in Dark, but I've never seen her on
Scorpio Sky. Apparently been undefeated for a year. Where? He's been on TV like twice before he won the TNT title.
Yeah, so if you're not like really watching every single AEW show, you're like, where the hell how are these people getting these like wins? I don't see them happening. I'm only watching Dynamite if I'm the casual like fan, or I'm just I'm a wrestling fan that just only watches those two shows, Rampage and Dynamite. I'm like, where the fuck did this guy get 700 wins? This company hasn't been around long enough for you to get 700 wins. You're not on the road long enough to get 700 wins. So that kind of that kills it for me. And the other thing too is they add the sports entertainment. I know it's supposed to be wrestling based, but they add the sports entertainment aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
100%.
It's the whole selling point of AEW was, we're not sports entertainment, we're a strict wrestling company, and they still do sports entertainment stuff, mimosa matches,
which is fine.
It's fine, but don't say you're not sports entertainment, and don't say we're strictly professional wrestling, and then do those type of things. Which is
I think it's like, I think those that really focus on that are your Kenny Omegas, your Young Bucks, not really Young Bucks, but FTRs, those guys, those are just like are down and dirty, nose to the ground. I think those are the ones that really focus on that.
Straight shooters,
but I think ultimately I agree with what you're saying, Anthony, about, they don't need the ranking system and all that stuff. I think it would just help the company because, clearly WWE doesn't know how to book. And I think it would, give them, a little boost of confidence kind of thing, oh, this is how it works. So maybe do it temporarily and then just, make it go away like everything else.
Let me also say that a ranking system works for a sport because – you see, that's why also, it doesn't work in wrestling because you would need every single competitor on that roster to compete around the same amount of times so that you get an even playing field of who is really at the top.
Yep.
That's why it works in sports because NBA, 82-game season, everyone plays the same amount of games, and then you get that final ranking at the end of the year to see who goes into the playoffs. Uh-huh. When you get to the WWE and AEW, not everyone plays because we only have a 2 to 3 hour show. So, you're going to only see the top guys, and those are going to be the ones that are ranked, and that's where you add in the dark and elevation wins to make that seem like a bigger number than it already is. If you only get 2 months of a ranking system, you're going to have ranks that are 4 and 3 or 5 and 2 or whatever it may be. Those aren't really impressive rankings. I would
no. I mean, but what I'm saying is just do it temporarily to give some confidence to some of these phony writers.
Sure.
And these people who are booked for write for television instead of writing for a wrestling program, and then they can see, okay, once the crowd responds more to these better storylines, reducing 50-50 booking and blah 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 blah, then you can be like, all right, let's ditch this. Now we know how to do this shit.
So I want to
that's where I would say bring it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to present a question real quick, but I do want to get some of these comments in. Ace says, the irony is that wins that are more important when you 50-50 book. Look at Yuta on Dynamite. His loss to Moxley was way bigger than any win that he could have gotten that week. Absolutely. That's why I'm saying, like,
it's wrestling, and that's what people care about is wins and losses, in the sense where it's not recorded.
Told a story in the match.
Yeah, told a story. That's it.
Like, that's why I'm saying that, like, the only way that I could see a ranking system working in any wrestling is if it's based on a point system, because some matches are just bigger than other matches.
I just think you're making it too complicated with the point system.
But that's the thing is, like, for me, if I'm booking like a ranking system and I see something like Yuta versus Moxley, I would have Tony Khan wager 2 points on this match for Yuta if he wins. But then that gets way too complicated. You know what I mean? So at this point, there's no use in the ranking system.
Yeah.
Ace also says Tony Khan is leaning on the old WCW model and old WWF model. Wins were piled up on Saturday night WCW and primetime WWF. Hogan never wrestled anyone big until the pay-per-view. But that's my thing, is that obviously I wasn't around. Was Saturday night WCW and primetime WWF big things? Like, were people watching it all the time?
Well, it was like Rampage, basically.
Well, so they were like, they were premier shows. They weren't tucked away on a YouTube channel.
WCW Saturday Night was the show for the
that was like their main show. It was like
there was also no ranking system back then either. Doing those matches and piling up those wins are great. You don't need to do a ranking system based off of that.
The irony is they're copying off of UFC, and UFC's now copying off of pro wrestling.
Yeah,
where they book shit. So
Chad says, I think everyone's hung up on pro wrestling and sports entertainment. Green jacket, gold jacket, who gives a shit? Rankings are not book good stories, have good matches, period. That's all it is.
Tell Tony Khan that. Don't tell us that.
Yeah, I know. The bots. Look, at the end of the day, like I say it all the time, like
the bots everywhere.
I say it all the time. Pro wrestling and sports entertainment are the same exact thing. Yeah. Wrestling is literally a sport that is entertainment.
Yes.
That's all it is. So I don't love when people like separate the two. Is that like a weird thing for me to say? Like, is it separate for you guys, or do you feel like it's the same thing?
I always say this. Well, even Vince McMahon said on that interview with Pat McAfee, he said, Pat McAfee was like, he asked about the word wrestling, and he's like, yeah, there's a rumor out there you hate the word wrestling, and Vince McMahon was like, I don't hate the word wrestling. He's like, wrestling is that's the sport, like you just said, it's a sport. He's like, the reason why he doesn't call his WWE superstars wrestlers, because WWE superstars sounds more enticing. It sounds like a better. It sounds like something important. Like, I'm a WWE superstar as opposed to I'm a wrestler. Like,
true.
You're like, LeBron James is an NBA superstar. He plays basketball. He's a basketball player, but he is an NBA superstar.
I'll be honest. Right? I end up calling wrestlers superstars more than I do wrestlers, anyways.
Thanks to Vince McMahon.
Superstar on action.
I kind of interchange them, but like,
yeah, me
really,
too. But I think it's just because I've grown with the superstar term. So
pro wrestling is the sport. Pro basketball, pro football. That's the sport. That's not what they are. That's what they do. That's why Vince McMahon came up with the WWE superstars. He's like, it gives you more of like a name. Like, you're like, yeah, I'm proud.
Austin says Steiner.
This is student solution. To be honest with you, I don't use
the numbers don't lie.
Sorry,
that's okay. I don't use any term. I just say it like when I'm telling like my wife, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm watching wrestling tonight. I don't say I'm watching pro wrestling. Yeah, I'm watching sports entertainment tonight.
I'm watching sports entertainment on the telly tonight.
I'm watching
wrestling.
Yeah,
I'm wrestling. Good old wrestling over here.
I'm watching my pro wrestling tonight. Yeah, I mean, in conclusion, before we move on, WWE, if you're listening, and we know you are, don't do the ranking
Don't
system.
do it.
It's
Unless
not
you're
worth
gonna
it.
like I said to me. Unless you're gonna do it to give your booking team or whoever some confidence, that's fine. Other than that, no.
Real quick before we move on, the question that I wanted to present before I got into the comments: yes or no? Is it worth doing the ranking system if it's not based on wins and losses and it's based on like the power rankings, like they did on WWE.com, and they present that on TV? J-Bone, yes or no?
No. Okay. So if they just do power rankings, no. I'm just gonna say no.
Marco,
I mean, they
Game
had
on
it
if you want.
before, but they never translated it to. I mean, it was on the WWE.com. They never translated it to TV. But I think it'd be pretty cool if they did. If they brought back, they don't have to do a ranking system. Just bring back the power rankings.
I don't
Just
think
like,
it'll help the booking because I think it'll add a challenge for the booking. Instead, I think it'll make the wrestlers feel more important in the top 5.
Like you see, like Ricochet now, he's kind of like that, like third baby face behind Drew McIntyre. Like maybe you see his ranking was low last week, but now it's like it's starting to move up. Like maybe if you see something like that, it doesn't have to be like a 1 through 10 spot. It's basically just like a like you said, a power ranking system. Like who's performing the best.
Yes, and also keep in mind, as of late, they've been, I think on the whatever Dave Meltzer Wrestling Observer, they've been kind of mentioning like who are the top 5, top 3 baby faces and heels that the WWE views are, the top on Raw and SmackDown. So I mean, there's definitely a ranking for them. If they translate that onto TV,
there's definitely an internal ranking, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's an internal ranking, but you can present that on TV and say, these are the people that are really doing well right now. These are the, it could provide some more transparency. It could allow the wrestlers to feel more important. So I would say, as far as a power ranking, sure, it could work. You just have to do it right. Just don't do it based on wins and losses.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on. Let's talk about a familiar name that we haven't mentioned in a while, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is back in the news, if you will. He's been making appearances at all these different conventions. I even saw a nice picture with him and Braun and Eric Rowan.
That's Titan to you, pal.
Titan, excuse me.
And Redbeard.
Control your narrative, if you will. So I saw a nice picture of them, which was really cool. But he was at WrestleCon. He was all around going to these conventions, and he's been pretty vocal as well. He's back on social media talking up a storm, and he's also said, apparently, J-Bone, you mentioned this, that his
does this come from Uncle Dave? So
it's come from Uncle Dave. Actually, you say
I'm sorry. So apparently his asking price is pretty high right now, and that's pretty much why he's not signed anywhere. Meaning he's not signed with AEW, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That might be one of the reasons. But apparently, when he was in WWE, he was making up to somewhere around $4 million a year. I'm like, goddamn, pal, no wonder they budget cuts.
What?
That's quite a lot, I mean, I guess the question is it worth it to sign him in excess of $4 million or at $4 million a year?
So let me understand this. So his contract was $4 million, or was it just all together? It was $4 million.
Apparently that's what he was making in his final year. I don't know if that includes like royalties and all that good stuff, but that's why he's like kind of just sitting out right now and just waiting for a deal because he made a nice chunk of change in his final year.
I'd say.
Well,
I mean, you got to think he was like the number one merch guy, not just on WWE Shop, but like in figure sales. You got to look at too.
And a whole title belt,
Yeah, the title belt. He definitely deserved. I mean, all $4 million. If that's the number that he made, I mean, he's raking in the cat during that. Obviously, during 2020 too, as well. They were doing a lot. They were focusing on the Fiend a lot.
Yeah,
they were doing a lot of stuff with him. So I mean, and he probably had a lot of input in that as well. I mean, obviously, that was the downfall was supposedly creative control over over the Fiend character and his own property. But yeah,
Jesus Christ, I think maybe we need a little work there.
but damn, yeah, I mean, I don't see. I mean, if Tony Khan were to go, hey, we're going to sign Bray Wyatt, obviously he's going to want more than $4 million because he was making that in the last year. He's probably going to want like upwards of like 5 or 6. We'll say maybe 7. And that it would have to. He would have to be the sole, like AEW would have to be built around him. Like he'd have to be the main person. Like you couldn't be every week have different matches and stuff like that. He'd have to be featured probably a lot. I'm assuming if that's the case, and I don't think.
Well, that ain't a knee slapper, buddy.
And I think the way they set things up, where it's supposed to be like sports oriented, where each week it's a different match and not really storyline focused. Unless you're like a main event, but
anti-sport right there.
Yeah,
you want to talk about entertainment?
WWE, man. I mean, he's probably looking to get back there, dude. They're the only ones that can actually probably pay him that amount.
Well, and the reason why I would say that is because the Fiend character was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even though WWE tried to screw it up, it was so good, so over. And I'm not trying to say Wyndham Rotunda is not a creative person, but it's gonna be hard to replicate that.
Right.
Coming off of the Fiend, because you're not gonna be able to use the Fiend, obviously.
Yeah.
And if you come over to Wyndham Rotunda, you do the Cult of Wyndham or whatever, people have been saying. And you're not going to sign him to go become the leader of Dark Order, like how people wanted. Well, I think it's
never.
Stupid.
That should never happen.
Well, then you get
never be the case. But I think, honestly, I think he's just waiting for WWE to.
I think so.
Hey, you want to come back?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, man. Plus, they have like the House of Black, and if he does anything in AEW, it's gonna kind of be the same thing as that, and
it just doesn't. He doesn't fit anywhere else.
That's
like
WWE, man.
He's the type of character that just does not work anywhere other than. No, I've always said that Bray Wyatt to me was my version of what Kane was to so many people that are older than me, because it was something unique, it was something different, and it was something that you could build so much around. With that being said, $4 million. So if it's a $4 million contract, no, he's not worth it. If it's a base contract, if that's included with merch and all of that, royalties and shit, for WWE, sure, but AEW,
they're not going to pull in that much.
With the pro wrestling tees and all these different merch options. I'm sorry, but
I see my royalty checks are pro tees. Not that
much. I'm sorry, but AEW's merch does not compare to WWE's in terms of the likeness, in terms of the what am I trying to say? Just the awareness of it, people see WWE merch. It's easier accessible or whatever. There's no way that Bray would get those merch sales unless like you said, Marco, they build around someone like a Bray Wyatt, which would completely throw off what AEW is doing, which maybe could be a good thing. Who knows? I've always said, and we've said it before on the Tavern, Bray Wyatt could be that version of the ultimate super villain within the Forbidden Door, that the whole type of wrestling world outside of WWE revolves around him. And he goes to New Japan and AEW and Impact, and he fights these different guys. And he's kind of like that ultimate bad guy that can make him the biggest heel in the business. Will it ever happen? Probably not. But it's something to consider for sure. But yeah, I think if he wants anywhere close to 4 million or 5, 6, 7, as we've said, it's probably WWE. He could definitely use him at this point. I mean, I don't know if he'll ever come back. If that's true, if he was making 4 million in his last year, guy never has to wrestle a day in his life. I mean, he's
doing movie work too. That's another thing, you know.
Yeah, he's
We'll make movies.
making movies. Making movies.
So smart.
So, I mean, I guess that's something for him to consider. But, like, you know, if he was going to WWE, if he was going to AEW, and I would assume, or we would assume, most of that, the chunk of change that we heard about the 4 million, you would have to imagine a lot of that was from the merch. Are you really going to get that merch money from AEW's end?
Probably not.
Maybe a few T-shirts. But I mean,
I say they bring him back as IRS Junior.
hey man, tax day is right in the rear view mirror. Who knows? Let's get to Chad's comments here. I don't want anyone new in AEW for at least a year. Start booking solid long-term stories for who you have before you crowd even more WWE cast off. Absolutely. Even with the guys they have now, like, I know this is always the case. I was looking at the numbers the other day, and in 2019, AEW ended their full-time roster with a number of around 70 talent. That includes wrestlers, backstage personnel, as far as like trainers and shit, referees, I believe referees. I'm pretty sure referees, a few other guys. Altogether, 70 employees. At the end, at 2022, as we stand right now, 186. That is and that includes a lot of the guys who aren't like officially signed, have made a few appearances, but a rough number is 186. That's 100 more people than they had in 2019.
Yeah,
you're already starting to see some negative effects of that.
Adrenaline in my soul.
I've called it from the start. You're starting to see an unofficial brand split between Rampage and Dynamite. You only see certain guys wrestling on Rampage, certain guys wrestling on Dynamite. Is it a bad thing? No.
Yeah.
But, I mean, brand splits suck. Like, you would rather just have all of them together. Their roster's bloated. There's no way around it. There are some guys that aren't really doing much. They're going to have to figure something out for them. ROH might be a solve for that, but who knows? He also says Bray would be Thanos in the Forbidden Door universe. Other than that, which won't happen, let him go back to playing grab ass with Alexa Bliss.
Hey, that's for Ryan Cabrera's job. Okay,
there's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong with you? You think you take that as like, is that like an insult? Playing grab ass with Alexa Bliss? What world do you live in, pal?
Yeah,
we make movies, pal. Chad also says 2019 was year one of the company. It was always going to grow to this size, but it's time to stop, lock in. I mean,
focus on those.
You knew it was going to grow, but like going from 70 to 170.
Yeah, focus on that top talent like Adam Cole.
Yeah. I want to look.
It's like taking it's like taking Shawn Michaels and putting him in the cold wash.
I want to look to see what the exact number was. So here, I'm on the SmackDown Hotel website, which is
you're supposed to put them on tumble dry, and you just put them on heat, and you shrunk. That's what happened to.
Like George Costanza, I was in the pool.
I was in the pool.
Oh my god. Okay, so it says on SmackDown Hotel that WWE has 252 employees, and that includes like the trainers and right? What does it say here? It says producers, ambassadors, coaches, a few other people, and AEW has, as of today, 174, and 2019 was 79. So a lot. It's a lot. Now WWE, of course, has 3 brands.
It is a growing company, But yeah, I mean, it's a big jump. It's a big jump.
Yeah, you can't grow
a big jump
that much. Yeah. You have to start focusing on the talent that you have. So definitely Bray Wyatt and AEW, I don't think works. And for $4 million as well, rather break that up and get some other guys if they ever want to. But I think, like Chad said, keep calm for now.
For $4 million, give me $4 million Adam Coles.
Oh my God.
That was a good one.
Well, that ain't a knee slapper, buddy.
Oh boy, let's move on from Bray Wyatt. All right. So yesterday we celebrated the 20th anniversary of I hear voices in my head. I shit in a backstage bag. They talk to me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So with that being said, Randy Orton's 20th anniversary, we are going to give our personal list of the top 3 Randy Orton feuds of all time, or Randy Orton rivalries, whatever you want to call them. The top 3 people that Randy Orton has gone up against all time, which is going to be interesting because originally we thought that this was going to be, we would have a lot of the same list. I'm saying my list is probably going to be completely different from all of yours. So let's get into it. Marco, we'll put you on the spot. Who is your top 3 feuds for Randy Orton?
So I'm trying to avoid the main ones that everyone knows about, because Randy Orton kind of mentioned these guys. Well, some of them anyway. When he was doing his speech on Raw this past Monday. So with that being said, I'm gonna go Shawn Michaels. Are we going in order, by the way? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, we'll go. I'm gonna go number 1 for my obscure Randy Orton rivalry list. I'm gonna go Shawn Michaels. Excellent feud. If you guys didn't see that, I'm gonna go Christian. If anyone remembers that was a really good.
That was a good one. That was
a really good feud as well. And I'm gonna round it out with an AEW original, CM Punk. The people, I'm not sure if anyone remembers that, but they did have they did feud. It was when CM Punk had the world title. And it was kind of like Randy Orton's kind of like put him in the position to be in the world title picture at the time. So that's my 3 there for not as, I'm not sure if they're as great as rivalries, but they were damn good. Damn good rivalries,
man. I like it. J-Bone, give me your top 3.
My number 3, I'm going to go with AEW superstar Brian Danielson.
Ooh, that's a really good one.
I think kind of got, and the reason why I want to go with that is it kind of got Randy out of a rut. I think he was kind of playing that babyface role so much and then turned heel. Good person to turn heel with. Good long storyline. So that's my number 3. My number 2 is, he mentioned him, is Mick Foley.
Yep.
Mick Foley. That's because for me personally, man, as a Legend Killer, when he did that Legend Killer run,
yep.
Man, he really got under my skin. That's like, I hate this dude.
Yeah.
But he did a good job. He did his job, And my number 1, I think it's pretty well known now. I think this is be a lot of people's number 1s, but it's
John Cena. John Cena.
Yeah. And John Cena, they've battled back and forth for years. They're kind of who was it that said it on one of the debates? I'm trying to remember who said it, but how Roman is John Cena and Seth Rollins is Randy Orton. And I think they're just throughout the the late 2000s to mid 2000s. I think they were always just 1-2, 1-2. Obviously, you could put John Cena and Orton as Stone Cold and The Rock. Boop, 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 real close. So, that's it.
Solid list. Before I get into mine, Chad says, should Randy Orton break Ric Flair's title reign record?
He's 14?
He's at 14.
Yep.
Yeah. He has the only one that can really do it right now is because he's at 16. I mean, I think if anyone's going to do it, it's probably going to be Cena.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure why they would put the title on him just to have
I'm
him
going to
win it.
say yes. I think Randy should. I feel like Randy's always been that guy that it's like he's a great wrestler,
Create a
but he
wrestler,
doesn't
man.
have something that really paints him as like one of the greatest. That if they wanted to, could launch him in that top. Obviously, not like top, but like launch him into that next tier of like, yeah, Randy is one of the greatest of all time. Plus, if he's planning on going until 50, like he's saying,
well,
you got some time.
That's another 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you give Orton a short title run, then WrestleMania 40, Cena versus Orton to see who breaks it. That could work. That could work pretty well.
Yeah.
I would love to see. I love seeing Orton with the title, just because he's
42.
He's great. I love
Do you
Randy Orton.
Do you like heel Randy Orton with the title?
Oh, yeah.
Or
Nah,
I mean,
heel
was he
all
ever
day.
face with the title? I don't think he was ever face.
The world
when he
heavyweight
lost to
title.
Jinder Mahal.
World heavyweight,
Yeah.
not the WWE title, right?
Yeah,
With
Jinder
Jinder.
Mahal.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
That was like a month.
yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And
did get it-
when he was going up against Sheamus in like 2010.
We
he
did
was
get
That
a
was
with
world.
the
That was world
WWE
heavyweight title, huh?
Yeah, that was a
No,
world.
WWE
Was it?
title.
You're right. No, you're right. Yeah, the Miz.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Miz beat him. Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I was gonna say the another rivalry I like too was when he was on his Legend Killer run was Hulk Hogan. He also had a feud with
Oh
a
yeah,
little bit as well. So, I mean,
very true.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah. I guess we'll call Hulk Hogan a legend. That's fine.
he's I mean, in his own mind anyway.
In his own mind. There you go. He's a legend in his own mind. Perfect.
I body slammed the 700-pound giant brother.
When I lifted him up over my head,
I pressed that big nasty giant dude. Every story begins the same thing with him.
I lifted that big smelly giant, brother.
Hey, if you want to see something funny,
Dude.
go watch his testimony on during the Gawker trial. It's hilarious. He really doesn't. He's confused at what Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea.
Yeah.
Really? He's cutting
my God.
promos, dude. On the
He legitimate. I know this is completely off topic, but he legitimately thought was trying to distinguish the penis size of Hulk Hogan versus Terry Bollea.
Oh, I heard that.
Anyways, that's another.
Terry's a grower, not a shower, brother.
I was hulking up, dude.
Let me give my Orton list before this episode goes
Oh,
off
man.
the rails.
Sorry. Yes.
So this was tough. Top three. I also tried to. Well, I tried to go for some deep cuts, but like there were some that I needed to put up there. Honorable mentions goes to Christian because that was a great feud.
Christian.
Also, honorable mention goes to Cena. I wanted to put him in the top three, but they went on for so long that I was kind of just like, yeah, maybe not. So I did not put him up there. But number three, I'm going with Jeff Hardy.
Ooh, that's a
that
good
is
one.
for his Rumble 2008 match, and even one of my personal favorite matches of all time, Hell in a Cell 2018, Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton.
Yeah, Jeff Harvey.
Where Jeff gets Jeff Harvey, where Harvey gets a screwdriver in his little ear.
Oh yeah.
Twisted it. I love that.
Owie.
Just great Randy Orton stuff there.
Fuck
Number
your
two,
earlobe,
I'm
pal.
going to give to number two and number one can flip flop. I'm gonna give this one to The Undertaker.
Yeah, no, he was on my honorable mention, honestly.
Yeah. So many great segments. One of my favorite moments of all time is a few actually in this feud. You know, obviously you have the WrestleMania match. You have the Orton driving Undertaker into the stage. The funeral segment where Undertaker wakes up. You also have Orton burning him in the casket. So many awesome moments in this feud that I strongly considered it to be my number one. But number one, I had to go with Cactus Jack. watching the feud watching the feud on Classic Match Classroom really opens your eyes to see not only how great Cactus Jack is, but how phenomenal he was to put over Randy Orton.
That backlash match.
I think
was
honestly,
great.
he did an even better job of putting over Randy Orton than he did Triple H. You can go either way on that one. In but Orton was immediately a star after that match.
Thumbtacks, man.
That's interesting.
Getting thrown off the stage, going through the thumbtacks, and I've seen both builds for both feuds, and like it's
pretty good.
It's close, but I mean,
close.
Orton was really phenomenal in that feud.
You know what? With the Triple H thing, I think Triple H was kind of established already.
As
a main event player. Maybe that's why. I mean, Randy Orton, obviously, he is who he's going to be anyway. He's definitely looked at as one of the young prospects there. So putting him in that match, that definitely. Even Mick Foley says that's his favorite match.
Yeah, like for sure.
Is him and Randy Orton. And then you heard Randy Orton on Raw. Like Mick Foley was the first thing that came out of his mouth. Like he really needs to without Mick Foley, he's not there. He's not Randy Orton.
Exactly. 100%.
Great
feud. Definitely check out the Classic Match Classroom to see Orton versus Foley.
I think that match is probably the greatest backlash match of all time.
Might be. No, I don't know. The greatest wrestling match ever was that backlash.
That did happen at Backlash.
And it was Randy Orton was involved.
We need a drop of
Mr. Backlash.
Mr. Backlash.
That's hysterical.
Randy Orton's Mr. Backlash.
Well, actually, Orton lost his WWE title to Jinder Mahal at Backlash.
Yeah, he is Mr. Backlash, dude. Wow.
Just putting over legends, man. Goddamn, Al.
Yeah, you gotta do it. You gotta do what you
That's
do.
what I'm calling for now on. Mr.
We need a
Backlash.
drop. We need an audio drop of Joey Styles just saying, "Now they don't want me to call Backlash."
Yeah, no, we
need to call Backlash.
Oh my God. We need an oh my God drop.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's too late to do the voice. Oh my gosh. Well, that was fun. Hope everyone enjoyed outside the ropes. How did I mess up the name of it? We're outside the ropes. We're in between the ropes.
Let's go inside the ropes now.
Let's go in the ring. Let's go outside the ring, in the stage. We're everywhere.
Let's wipe your feet off.
Wipe your feet first. Show some respect.
Proper wrestlers.
Collar and elbow, Yeah.
All
right. Now it's time for my favorite segment and yours.
South slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters and you busters. Down south slanging, rolling with these hustlers, trying to get rid of all you haters and busters.
J-Bone, give me your quick review because we're already an hour.
Yeah. So just one thing I do want to mention: LA Knight has been called up officially.
Yes.
And so he's doing this model management thing, which I actually don't hate. I think it's kind of cool.
Same. I think it's pretty cool.
And I know some people are like, oh, he's a manager. Doesn't mean he can't wrestle.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think it's a good deal for him. So I do want to mention that. Man, tonight. Buzz, your NXT 2.0 Wolf. So I literally have Viking Raiders. Wolf.
Yeah.
So they're doing this angle where, real quick, Roddy Strong is challenging the Creed brothers and trying to get them motivated. So apparently Creed brothers are going to go up against Viking Raiders. And Viking Raiders are in Diamond Mine gear because why not? Or colors, what should I say? Sure. Nikita Lyons defeated Lash LaRue. Not Lash LaRue, Lash Legend. I put that on my notes. Tony D'Angelo defeated Von Beverly.
Von Beverly.
Yeah, because that's what they should call him. Let's bring back the Beverly Brothers. Oh, I'm sorry. Von Beverly beat Tony D'Angelo. I have that reversed. Next week is we're gonna be spring breaking, y'all.
Yeah, buddy.
Breaking,
Spring break,
y'all.
And good old tag team of Cora Jade and Nikita Lyons going up against Natalia and Lash LaRue.
Instant classic.
What?
Instant classic. 5 stars already. You don't even have to see the match.
That's gonna be
great.
abysmal.
So I'm pretty sure there's going to be a triple threat between Carmella Hayes, Cameron Grimes, and Solo Sikoa.
That will be very good, actually.
That'll be good. And then of course, Joe Gacy versus Braun Steiner.
I think they also mentioned the Creed brothers against the Viking Raiders.
Yeah.
Breaking, so
Yeah.
might not be bad. Might not be a bad.
It's gonna be horrible.
You got a decent card, some good matches on there. Like honestly, Diamond Mine and Viking Raiders, that'll be a fine match. Viking Raiders are much better than people give them credit for.
Yeah,
no, they're great, but they've neutered them, So
sure,
yeah.
But I mean, once they're in the ring, like they're pretty good.
No, they're great. They're a great talent, but the WWE has completely
with the
neutralized
Viking
them.
Salty about that.
Well, another thing real quick I want to mention, in 2 weeks' time is going to be the start of the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament, so you get to see more greenhorns in the ring.
Yes.
If you didn't have enough.
Well, no, I like that. I like that they're doing, because they always do the breakout tournaments.
It's terrible. It's got.
Well, they've done the breakout tournaments for NXT before. It's just the men's side of things.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's awful.
Gonna be greener than goose shit. That's what it's gonna be.
One of the people that are in the tournament is Ariana Grace, who is the daughter of Santina Barala.
Yeah,
Ariana Grace. What a name change that is.
Yeah. So
I guess better than Ariana Morella.
You know what happened with The Rock's daughter?
She's been injured so many times. I think she's out with an injury right now.
Wow.
She is. She is. She's just not the Pebble, as they call her, is a little bit out of action right now. So,
dang.
I don't know. I mean, hopefully we get to see her. It'd be cool, but yeah.
So 1 out of 5 stars. What are you giving NXT tonight?
Oh, tonight was they owe me stars.
They're in debt. They're in debt of
They owe me stars.
They owe me stars. No, 0. I'm straight up like
fair.
Just not even fun. So
Didn't
wasn't even
have
a fun
Didn't have
match.
fun.
So,
Well,
yeah.
Thank you very much for that. I hope you enjoy spring break next week. Because I surely will not be watching, but hope you enjoy. I might watch some matches. Anyways, let's get into our final segment. We got to find out
Who won the week?
So let's talk about this. Raw, honestly, has been significantly better than SmackDown the last few weeks, and it's scary.
Yeah.
But someone brought up on Twitter, and I do agree with this, the fact that there is no world championship on Raw right now kind of forces WWE to make sure every wrestler has a story.
Yep.
And that's working phenomenally for them, because even the stupid stories like Ezekiel and Kevin Owens is doing so well right now because they're just allowing the wrestlers, or the superstars rather, to just be good. I mean, we even saw it in the main event last night. You had Cody, Ezekiel, and RK Bro going up against Seth.
What a Survivor Series team!
Going up against Seth, KO, and the Usos. 3 huge feuds right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're all from Raw, so something to consider. We also saw some returns.
Yeah.
We'll get into. We saw first Asuka, and I wrote in the chat, "That's a good pop. That's a good pop."
Her theme music is the best.
It is very good. Did you see her graphic that she had on the screen?
That was so
fire.
awesome. Yeah, no, I love Asuka. I'm so glad
And the crowd went crazy. So
yeah.
And she's a better promo than Becky Lynch.
Yes.
And English is their second language. So there you go.
The only person that I saw on Twitter who was not excited for Asuka to be back was Tom. Tom was not happy for some reason.
Tom's a miserable person though. So
Yeah, I don't get it.
It's not Tay Conti, so I don't care.
That's a good one.
So Asuka and Becky Lynch. I'm surprised. I figured that, like, I guess there's just starting off Asuka with Becky, but you would think Becky would. You would think Asuka would be kind of like pushed into the title picture with not that many challengers for Bianca. But we're starting off with just the normal one-on-one. What do you guys think about her return against, presumably going up against Becky Lynch?
Hopefully it's a one-off, and let's move on.
It won't be a long feud. I mean, they have a little bit of a history with Becky Lynch, gifting her the women's title before she took her hiatus and stuff like that. So
you're gonna be a mom?
Yeah, they can kind of play into that. But I'm hoping it's a one-off as well, and Asuka moves on to the title picture at some point, because they're definitely in need of some stars in that area.
For sure. And then we got a second return that everybody
more surprising
was surprised about. Mustafa Ali is back.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, Twitter. What happened with the free Ali? Everyone's quiet now.
Yeah.
Well, hey, he went to the same hypocrite college that Cody Rhodes went to. So.
Is everyone here a wrestling fan or sports entertainment?
No.
So free Ali. I don't see anyone. No, I don't know. Twitter is oddly quiet about the.
I think Elon Musk got rid of all those people. That was his first order.
That's what it was.
The free Ali hashtag.
Let's get rid of the free Ali bots.
But yeah, man, that was a surprise. I mean, obviously Asuka was surprising, her returning, but Ali was a shocker.
Ali
in
was
my eyes,
very
anyway. I think people were confused. Like that, obviously the crowd. I think the crowd was just like, "What the hell? He's actually, after all that, like, withholding." I mean, I don't know.
And he got a win.
I think he got a win. Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're gonna have plans for him.
I think he's winning the title. Personally,
already.
I don't think Theory's holding it that long. I think they might feud. And he's gonna end up winning it at some point.
Maybe.
Man, I mean, that's
to be fair, Vince doesn't give a shit about the U.S. title. And if Theory is Vince's guy, he's probably like, "Pal, you don't need that. You're going for the world title."
That title shit.
That title.
I don't know if y'all saw my meme that I posted last week, but it's with Andy from Toy Story, and he's dropping Woody, and it says, "I don't want to play with you anymore." So I'm tagged Vince and Finn Balor. So that's basically what's happening. Yeah. I don't want to play with you anymore.
My favorite part of the free Ali Twitter trend was that one guy on Twitter who tagged like a Saudi prince, I think prince of Saudi Arabia, and he was like, the WWE is holding Ali hostage, not allowing him to leave. Please do something about this. It was like,
what?
I have to send you this tweet. And he was completely serious. So I don't know. Ali has also, like Tyson says, he's going at it with Ciampa apparently.
Ciampa, no more Tommaso.
That could be pretty good. That could be pretty good. Also, of course, Twitter goes crazy over a new name change. Get over it. Just get over it. It's gonna happen.
Wait. What was the name change? What was
it? Ciampa.
It's just Ciampa.
Who cares? That's what everybody calls him.
Yeah, it's Ciampa. I don't call him Tommaso. Who calls him Tommaso Ciampa? Like, he says both names.
Like, you really have to think. A lot of the names that the WWE are changing, sure, these guys have had these names for a while. Really listen to some of these names, like Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso, like. tomato, like
Tomato.
like you know what I mean? Like
Green
Marcel
jacket.
Barthel. Who the fuck? I would pick on a guy like Marcel Barthel.
Yeah, that doesn't sound menacing at all.
I'm not fucking with Ludwig Kaiser. Now Gunther and Walter is a whole nother situation, but anyways,
like I've mentioned already, the only thing go back, you can see our reactions, to the Gunther change, because at the time I thought they would go after the Nazi dude, That's why I was like, oh my god, they didn't do that. But also it was pretty bad, by changing it mid match. So
yeah.
That's the only one that I really had an issue with. But
right. Ace says his birth name is Tommaso, though. Hey, look, my birth name is Anthony Cerulli, but I would never use Cerulli as a wrestling name.
Exactly.
No, you're the answer.
The answer, ASC.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah, watching.
Plug's coming in a little bit, but hey, look, I'll take it. Marco, have you seen the video? Nah. But yeah, so Ciampa, I'm fine with a name change, and he's going up against Ali, which should be a pretty good program, and it's at least something for him to, Tommaso is the first name. Anthony's my first name. I would pick on a guy named Anthony, but that's besides the point. Yeah, so Ali's back. Surprising. Yeah. Twitter is oddly quiet. That's something else you have to think about for WWE. They were able to re-sign guys like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, AJ Styles, guys who everyone thought were primed for AEW or just other greener pastures. Plus, they were able to bring back people like Zelina Vega, Mustafa Ali, however he pronounces it. There was even a time where Sasha was about to leave, and I guess Vince kind of convinced her to come back. If nothing else, Vince is just
convinced
a huge negotiator.
Vince McMahon.
Man.
He's a businessman.
He's a businessman.
Yeah, he's not a businessman. He's a businessman now.
And he's doing business, man.
I don't think. I mean, that's why those tweets are kind of weird from Sasha Banks, where she just randomly says thank you.
She is weird. Yeah.
It must be a gimmick, but if it's real, that's pretty weird.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Goddamn, pal.
Goddamn, pal. All right. Let's. So we talked about the returns. Let's talk about match of the week. Y'all are gonna have to remind me about what the good matches were this week because I don't remember anything.
Actually, there was a couple. It wasn't like some barn burners, but there were some pretty decent ones. It was more about storyline actually this week. So that's weird to say.
Yeah.
I'll go first. There's a couple. I have a couple options out there. I'm gonna go with Jey Uso and Matt Riddle, excuse me. It was a pretty solid match, really good. Because other than that, there was nothing else good on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Spoiler to who I thought won the week, but yeah. Anyways,
pause real quick. I'm looking at this picture of Joe Gacy.
Oh boy!
I have to put it up on the screen because I cannot believe that
he's woke, baby.
He's very woke.
You wish you could be
woken up. Apparently, he's woken up the Undertaker's druids.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So no. It got even better. So last week, he pushes Braun Steiner off of a ledge.
I did see that.
All those guys surround him and sit on lay on top of him. It's not good.
Anyways,
it's not good.
Marco, what's your match of the week?
Let me think. I'm gonna go with Matt Riddle and Riddle, and Uso. I think.
Cool.
I was gonna go with Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn because I enjoy their feud for some odd reason. Actually, you know what? I'll go with that. I think. I mean, next week is going to be. Well, actually, this week is going to be a cage match, so that should be pretty entertaining. But I don't know what it is. It's probably one of the most flat storylines going. But is this something that's, I don't know, maybe the dynamic between Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn is just kind of clicking for some odd reason? I have no clue.
I got a little bit of a hot take. I got a little bit of a hot take for that.
Oh boy.
Hot takes here. Get your hot takes here.
I think just real quick, little prediction. This is our prediction. This is not a prediction. This is a spoiler. I think Sami Zayn is going to win the steel cage match with the help of Roman Reigns. And they're going to hot shot Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns for Backlash.
Yeah,
I wonder if you read the spoilers because it already happened.
Really?
What already happened?
The show.
Oh, yeah.
They have to pre-tape because they're going to be in the UK.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't. Okay, well then, all right. Goddamn.
But I agree. I do think they'll end up doing Drew and Roman in some capacity.
I only said that because I knew they were working on the house shows together, so that's why I said
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, then, I mean, maybe that's what it is too. Like maybe it's just Sami Zayn is just continuing his entertaining streak, like him, trying to canoodle with the bloodline was kind of funny.
Right.
Literally not paying attention to him while he's in there, just trying to it was pretty funny. But yeah.
So would they do Drew and Roman for Backlash?
That's kind of fast, though. It's next week.
Yeah.
There's really no. I could see another McIntyre Sami Zayn match happening.
Well, that's what I say. They're gonna hot shot it. I mean, and get to there. I think maybe, I don't know, something happens, some shenanigans happen. Maybe they push it into Hell in a Cell too. I don't know, but
I
don't know.
I don't know.
I don't see Roman even. I mean, I could be wrong.
What happened with Nakamura?
Yeah, what happened with Nakamura?
We were about to get a Nakamura and Reigns feud.
He's still recovering from carpal tunnel syndrome.
I'm telling you. See, a lot of people think that it was in a shoot that he was. I think he was actually injured, dudes. I still think Roman Reigns is injured. I think he got hurt at WrestleMania.
But he wrestled 2 weeks ago
He did.
cut a babyface promo and told not.
Oh
to
yeah, that's right. He did, didn't he?
And told people not to record it.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, that's right. I did see that. Yeah, but it was in a tag match, right? It wasn't really like a.
I don't really know, but
it was
I think maybe
one-on-one.
They've been running Drew and Roman. Yeah.
Huh.
I think at most maybe he was maybe partially injured.
No build though. No, that's kind of
unless they're starting a long feud for.
That's what I'm kind of thinking.
Because we got some stadium shows. That's a huge match, Roman and Drew, if they build it properly for either a Money in the Bank or the UK show.
Yeah,
the Cardiff show.
Yeah, it's possible.
Just saying, could happen.
I mean, and I seen rumors of Tyson Fury and Drew McIntyre at the.
If they put
Cardiff
Tyson
show.
Fury in the ring with Drew McIntyre, that is such a waste of a match.
It might happen.
I'm sorry, but I'm sure it'll be fine. But just put Tyson in a match with somebody else. Why do you have to waste Drew on him? I don't know.
Because he's I don't know. It'd be. I mean, Tyson Fury's a giant man. It'd be kind of odd to put him in the ring with any
What
other.
about Omos for all I care?
I mean, Omos. Yeah.
Bring back Adam Cole.
Tyson Fury versus Adam Cole.
Tyson Fury versus Adam Cole is terrible. Oh boy. For my match of the week, I'm going to go with the 8-man tag main event of Raw.
Okay.
Really good. Orton's been looking great. Also, I think I'm set that Orton is the one to turn heel because it's been so strange how they've been hyping up everyone, not just on WWE, but on social media and everything. Everyone's been saying, oh, Randy Orton is the happiest he's ever been in his entire WWE career. Like they posted like pictures of like Randy Orton with like puppies and like Orton smiling and he's saying, I'm with my best friend, Riddle. We're friends. Orton is going to turn
I don't know,
on,
man.
on Riddle.
I don't know. I think it's a Kansas City shuffle. They're gonna make you look left and they go right, brother.
You think we can't talk about predictions, so I'm not going to bring. We'll talk about it on next week.
We'll talk about it next week. It just depends where you turn him.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's a big match coming up, guys. It's a unification match, so I mean,
that's true. With Mr. Backlash himself, Randy Orton. Come on now.
He's
Mr. Backlash.
Mr. Backlash.
Mr. Backlash.
Lord, he really is.
That's
He's
a
really
t-shirt.
Mr. Backlash.
You hear that? You hear that, guys?
Like Randy
the
Orton.
Chads. That's a t-shirt. Mr. Backlash.
Oh,
Print it up right now.
Randy Orton is Mr. Backlash.
Randy Orton. I mean, also the Cactus Jack match was at Backlash.
Yeah, no,
like,
he's Mr. Backlash.
He had the fatal 4-way with Edge and Cena and
we're the first to say this,
Michaels.
I think. I don't think this is a thing yet.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a thing, but it definitely should be a thing.
The showstopper, the icon, Mr. Backlash.
Now they told me I gotta work Backlash. That's gonna be a drop all throughout next week's episode. I promise you.
And it's definitely gonna be in the description of the show whenever I type it up.
Mr. Backlash, Randy Orton.
Oh my god! All right. Well, let's wrap up the show by determining
who won the week.
I'll tell you who lost the week was that kendo stick under the table that Charlie tried to grab.
Yeah, that was
poor kendo stick. Man, says something about them two. They cannot do a contract signing.
They don't click, man. They don't.
Yeah, their contracts. Everything they do is just so bad.
It's just not good, man. They're just.
They have no.
Ronda's just. Yeah, she's just phoning it in.
I think doing Ronda and Charlotte instead of Ronda and Becky will go down as one of the best decisions WWE has made in the last decade. Because Ronda and Becky would just be so bad.
I think you put Ronda with any one of them, and it's just not gonna work.
Let's put Ronda versus Dana Brooke. That'd be hilarious.
Put Ronda versus Randy Orton at Backlash, and we've got ourselves a match now.
Maybe she could turn into Mrs. Backlash.
I don't think she's ever fought it back. This is going to be Ronda Rousey's first Backlash, is it not? Wow.
She could be. Yeah,
fight it.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, because she didn't wrestle after her first match. She didn't wrestle for a couple months after.
Yeah,
and then the next year she left WrestleMania 35. So that was it.
Yeah, we need to find a Mrs. Backlash. I feel like there's a woman out there that's been performing at every Backlash.
I feel like that could be like Trish Stratus
or Natalia. You think it's probably Natalia?
Natalia.
Wow.
Mr. and Mrs. Backlash.
Who's Mr. No Mercy?
Oh man,
Mr. Backlash.
That's probably Mick Foley. Mr. No Mercy.
Yeah.
Who's Mr. in your house?
Ooh, that's a good one actually. Huh.
Oh my god.
Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels, you think? No, Brett? No?
He's the greatest of all time. Because Brett screwed Brett.
Maybe Diesel. Diesel might be, or Kevin Nash might be Mr. In Your House.
Anyways.
Who is Mr. Capital Punishment?
R-Truth.
R-Truth.
Oh, man, definitely.
Anyways, Raw won the week. Any objections?
No, Raw won. Yeah.
All right.
No doubt.
Well, folks, there's only one thing left to say.
Hey, yo.
It's time to end the show. Folks, thank you for watching another episode of the RAWDOWN. Marco, where can we find the Chick Foley Show?
Oh, on the Twitter machine. I got to remember to say that. On the Twitter machine, you can find me at Chick Foley Show. You can find Sheena, Chick Foley herself, on IG at Chick Foley. You go to Pod Foundation to find everything Pod Foundation. That includes Turnbuckle Tavern, Chick Foley, all the news and updates you need to keep up to date. There's a lot of content happening over there. We have ChickFoleyShow.com. You join the Facebook group, the greatest group of people on God's green earth. You also have Chick Foley Shop, where you can get some merch, get some tumblers, get some hoodies, get your t-shirts, get everything.
Hell yeah, pal.
What else? Oh, you can follow me at the MVP Marco as well. And
Get him.
oh man,
I don't
all right.
believe it. Name me one iconic Kane backlash
Thank you.
match.
Yes.
Exactly.
I can name you 50 iconic Randy Orton matches.
Yeah, exactly. No, Kane is not.
Jack.
That's why he doesn't.
Edge,
No,
Jinder Mahal.
that's why this guy does not deserve to be champion with that horrible statement.
Yeah, horrible.
Exactly.
Horrible.
Exactly.
Horrible.
Get out of here.
Awful. Sounds like
Get
someone
out of
else
here.
we know.
I'm not even
Raw
looking forward
champion.
to seeing him next week.
And then sounds like it's someone with those horrible takes. I wonder who that is. Also on the Turnbuckle Tavern. I'm not gonna say his name.
It's not Hawk because I'm the number one Hawkster. I'm the number one Hawkster.
Ridiculous.
Hawk
I
Hawk
hate
is
this
gone.
era of J-Bone.
You be that.
to-
I
to
hate
drop
it too.
the
It's-
gimmick. Let's go
drop
kayfabe
it.
here. Get back.
Whatever. This is not a gimmick, pal.
The group chats were so much better when it was just you and Hawk going at it.
Yeah, I might have to.
Kayfabe
Yeah,
out
someone has
the
to take up the
window.
reins.
I love
Let's
Hawk.
get back to you.
He's my best friend.
Because I'm trying to take the role now, but I can't do it.
But he's not
because-
playing along either. I feel like he should be like, "You're full of shit."
Yeah,
He's
you know.
playing
Just-
along with this guy.
We've buried the hatchet, and I've realized the error of my ways. He is a man of great integrity, truth, honor. If you don't love the
Get
Hawk,
rid of this guy square.
All right. Before you pull
almost-
something, why don't you plug your show?
Oh, he's pulled something all right, but it's not on him. It's not his body.
CM Punk. I didn't even know Kane fought CM Punk. You know what I do remember?
Oh my
when
God,
Randy
come
Orton
on,
threw
get
the
outta here.
Sting brothers onto the announce table on
Thank
Backlash
you.
2017.
Right.
J-Bone,
Yes.
please plug your show.
All right, back to my megaphone now. All right, but yeah, coming down the aisle this week, we've got Mr. Austin from Pro Wrestling Central. We'll watch The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar from WrestleMania 30, and don't forget to check out Free the Fig. Got a little giveaway going on. All you got to do is subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow me at Coming Down the Aisle. You can find the link for the YouTube channel at comingdowntheaislepod.com. And potentially got some pretty cool actually interviews coming up. So make sure you check that out. Check out everything that's going on at Coming Down the Aisle, Instagram, _, on Twitter. I think that's about it.
I love it. Tyson says that Hawk is Seth Rollins if you order him from Wish or Dollar Tree. Correction, Hawk is Matthew Justice without the talent. That is who Hawk is.
Get out of here. I'm telling him you said that.
Go right ahead. He won't even know who he is, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, he's smarter than you think, okay?
Jinder
All right.
Mahal and Randy Orton to win the WWE title. Yes, in one of the most iconic matches of all time,
Yeah.
including when Randy Orton faced Edge in the greatest wrestling match of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
Henceforth, Mr. Backlash himself. Jeff Hardy pinned Randy Orton. Orton!
We're not talking about wins. We're talking about just appearances.
Wins and
he is
losses
just
don't
a
matter.
backlash.
You're in that AEW mentality. You see, this is what the Honor Society does to you. It makes you think that wins and losses
The
mean
dishonor society.
the Dishonor Society. Excuse me. Sorry. Makes you think wins and losses matter.
Boring.
No, yeah.
But anyways, you can go ahead and follow me over on the Titantron at the Titantron podcast on Twitter at the _Titantron. Classic Match Classroom. We are coming back this week. We took a little bit of a break just because work, school, hectic. But we are coming back with, and I can actually use it this time. Where is it? Here it is.
War Games!
First ever War Games. We're going to do it this week. It's going to be a good episode. Definitely check it out on all of our YouTubes and Anchor, Spotify's, Apple, everywhere.
All my Twitches.
My Twitchers and my live stream thingamajigs. And also, go ahead, if you haven't already, Independent Epicenter is back with another episode for Invictus Pro Wrestling. Their show is this Saturday, In Bloom 2. You can watch it live on IWTV. It is in New Jersey, Ridgefield, New Jersey, Knights of Columbus. If you are in the area, definitely check it out because they still have tickets available, and it's a phenomenal show. They have some great wrestlers over there. I got to interview the champion, Mucho Chris Mojo, the social media champion, who is a character and a half. You got some big names like Big Game Leroy, some other names like Ken Broadway's on there, Alex Kane, Darius Carter, some awesome names. Edith Surreal. Definitely check out Invictus Pro if you haven't already, and check out the Indie Epicenter because the video that I did is probably one of my favorites that I've ever worked on. Check it out. But besides that, that's about it for the plugging for us because, folks, the music is playing. You know what that means. You need to plug the Turnbuckle Tavern. Folks, if you enjoyed what you heard, and I know that you did, make sure that you go ahead and support the Turnbuckle Tavern in any way possible. And that's as easy as heading on down to the turnbuckletavern.com and following us on all of our social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, what do we have? The TikToks and the Discords of the world and all these different social medias that we have. If you have the social media, if you have an account for it, just follow us. It goes a long way. Even like right now, if you're watching on YouTube, you probably have a YouTube account. So go ahead, drop a subscribe, drop a comment telling us what you thought, leave a like, goes a long way. It's very quick, very easy, and it helps us out so much more than you think. I spoke about it before, but we're on Discord at theturnbuckletavern.com. First link on the, what is it called? The link tree. First link on the link tree, Discord, join the community. All the cool kids are doing it. And, of course, you can support us by buying our merch. Teespring over on theturnbuckletavern.com. You can get the official RAWDOWN logo on some merch as well as some stickers and mugs and all these different things that you can get. We actually have Marco sporting his official RAWDOWN shirt, as you can see right there. Look at that, a beautiful shirt. I still need to get one. I keep forgetting. You also have ProWrestlingTees.com/tavern, where you can get some specific RAWDOWN merch with all of your favorites, such as Hollywood Tony. Hollywood Tony hasn't made an appearance in a while. Might have to look into that.
No, you're fired, pal.
You're fired, pal. Young Anthony, Boney Shivani, MVP Marco, we all have a t-shirt. You definitely want to get all of them and support the tavern. We are posting podcasts almost every day of the week. Monday is the debate. Tuesday is Broken VCR and the fucking GCW show. Wednesday is, that's us, the audio version of the RAWDOWN. Thursday is the flagship show talking all things AEW, Dynamite, and Rampage with Hawk and Freems over on the Turnbuckle Tavern. Friday is the Turnbuckle section with Mike and Tom. Saturday gives you Fig Night, Toy Night, if you will. And then live streaming video. You can see our beautiful faces. Monday is the fucking GCW show. Tuesday is your doubleheader with Fig Night and the RAWDOWN. Wednesday is all elite wrap up. Easy for me to say. And Thursday is the Dishonor Society. Fuck the Dishonor Society. Plus some new shows on the horizon. Of course, Shot of Nostalgia with our fraudulent champion, Ace Field, as well as Mike Belcaster. They are looking into WCW 1996 that releases every Friday. Plus, we have a new show coming very, very soon, Before Our Time, with myself and Nick Storm, as we are going to review all the WrestleManias 1 week at a time. We're going to look at the WrestleManias and we are going to rank every single one of them. It'll be a fun little show that we're going to do here. That's so cool. Definitely tune into it. It's going to be on YouTube, just like the Shot of Nostalgia. So it'll be on Fridays as well. Apparently Tyson's giving me some props here. He's saying I'm better than Hawk.
Tyson, what is wrong with you, pal? God damn.
Hey, man.
Respect the Hawk.
He speaks the truth, and only the truth. Folks, thank you so much for watching the RAWDOWN. Hope you enjoyed. And we will see you back next week as we are going to be competing for, of course, the RAWDOWN Championship. Hopefully we will be able to get this championship back on our show because I miss it. I miss my baby, and I need my baby back.
It's mine, actually, but that's fine.
It's mine, but whatever. Hope Acefield actually shows up next week. That will actually.
He's chicken shit.
He's a chicken shit. An awful champion. Just an awful champion is Acefield. But I will be winning my championship next week, and it'll all be good. Well, apparently he's seeing us next week.
We'll see. We'll see, pal.
We'll see. We'll see, pal. Well, with that being said, folks, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week. But until then, take care. Spike your hair. Woo, woo, woo. You know it.